Hello and welcome to our show. My name is Francine Scaboria and I'm the Communications Coordinator for Safe Berks. Safe Berks is a nonprofit located in Reading. We serve the people of Berks County, anyone who has been a victim of domestic violence or sexual assault. And I want to welcome our guest today, Dr. Sudha, the co-founder and executive director of the Kula Kamala Foundation, and I'm very honored that you visited us here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Yeah. And I was wondering if you could just tell the audience a little bit about your history and work in yoga.
Sure, absolutely. I started practicing yoga many years ago, about 38 years now, actually.
Wow.
Yes. So I was a late teen when I started diving into it. I was a survivor of abuse as a child, and the yoga was really my go-to. It was the place that I went to when I needed to feel safe, when I needed to feel strong, and when I needed to get away from some of the not-so-healthy habits that I had acquired as part of my survival technique. And so I came and went from it for many years, and then at one point I got ill. And as a result of that, I lost a lot of strength. I was in bed for a year. I had a few surgeries. And when I was trying to reconnect with myself, to find my way back to myself, yoga was the way. And so I dove into it very deeply at that point in time. And that's really, in many ways, what saved me. It's what brought me back to being strong, being connected, and being happy in this life. So.
Wow, well, thank you so much for sharing this. And this is why I really wanted you to come on this show, is because Safe Berks, of course, serves people who are all survivors of trauma, of abuse and trauma. And have you found in your personal experience, and would you recommend for other people, that yoga could help them heal through their trauma?
Absolutely, yes. The thing that's very special about yoga that most people don't realize, unless you are a practitioner or you have come through that type of situation and used yoga as part of your healing method, is that yoga is all about connecting with yourself. It's about compassion. It's about non-harming. It's about self-expression in a kind way. It's about seeing the greater beauty that exists in the world and recognizing the abundance that exists, even in moments where there might be challenge and obstacle to that abundance and to that happiness. So it allows you to see realistically and practically a path through and to not give up hope. Yeah.
Wow, it's very inspiring to me, and I appreciate hearing this. And do you also think that yoga and meditation can help people who work in these fields, which I know it can be very difficult, and often you see a lot of turnover because the job is very difficult to help people who have dealt with trauma. Do you think it can help them too?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, when the time came that I started to train in order to become a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist, I didn't really want to teach public classes. I was more interested in the healing aspect of this and how it could be applied to families in crisis and to individuals in crisis. And so I completed about 3,000 hours worth of training in total. And I have a teacher in India that I also study with. And one of the places that I went to were mental health organizations, women's shelters, schools, and hospitals, in order to bring these techniques to individuals who really are living under a lot of stress and anxiety. Some of those people are the care providers. There's a great burnout level for individuals working in these fields and trying to provide services to people who need them. And so one example is that we worked with a small private school in New Jersey that had a high burnout rate for their teachers. The students were all at risk and special need. And through 3 years of techniques being applied in school to students and for teachers, they overwhelmingly reported that they experienced greater relaxation, a greater sense of camaraderie with faculty, with students, with administration. that they felt they had a greater grasp on how to deal with their stress and their anxiety and a greater connection to themselves. So
It's
yes.
wonderful. So you've seen it work
I
in
have
your
seen it
own
work.
life and in the
I
people
have.
that you work with.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky because I live down the street from your
You too.
ashram,
Yeah.
and I can drive there very quickly. And I will just say it's a very, very beautiful, peaceful place.
Thank
And maybe
you.
can you tell us a little bit about your facility and your organization here in Berks County, and also
Sure.
what does Kula Kamala mean? Because
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask that.
Everybody asks that. They say,
Yeah.
is that Hawaiian?
Yeah.
And the answer is no, it's not. It's actually the ancient language of Sanskrit.
Okay.
And so the word Kula means community. And the word Kamala means the blooming of the lotus flower. And in yoga, the lotus flower is symbolic of the human journey. The seed of the lotus flower typically embeds in the base of a swamp, in the muck and mire, in an environment that's not conducive to its beauty. And it makes its way. You know, the seed sprouts, and the sprout makes its way through the swamp to the surface, and eventually the bud blossoms, and it is so beautiful and so pure, and never with a smear on it. Never. And so, and yoga is the technique that brings that forth in a person, brings the strength forth. So Kula Kamala Foundation, or Kula Kamala Yoga, is the process of bringing that beauty forward in the community and in the individual.
It's beautiful.
About 8 or 9 years ago, when I got back from India, I so appreciated my ashram experience in India that I went to my husband and said, I really feel compelled to bring this here on some level for the modern world, here in the West, the Western modern yoga community, holding on to the spirituality and the connection of these practices. And so we started to look for schools. And we took about 5 years, I think, looking at different schools all up and down the West Coast. And it wasn't until a very snowy day 4 years ago that we drove out here to Reading. My husband had found the school on eBay, and he said, let's look at this. And so I said, okay, let's go right now. And we did. And
I love it.
Yeah, we ended up feeling so wonderfully at home. The space is so special. It has a great vibration, the community that comes together there. And the reason why we wanted a school, we had a studio in New Jersey, but we wanted a residential facility where we could live and serve, and where we could also have students come in and stay residentially for the short term so that they could learn how to become yoga therapists and take those techniques back to their community and spread the healing energy of yoga.
It's just wonderful. It's just beautiful. It's on Basket Road.
It's on Basket Road in Alsace. Yes, absolutely.
Which is very close by to Reading, driving-wise, maybe 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yet you have the beauty of sort of the oldie countryside. So it's sort of the best of both worlds where you're...
It really is. It really is. It's a very special place. We're about 1 mile from the sacred oak tree in one direction, and 1 mile from another space, I believe it's Cathedral Rock, in the other direction. And so oftentimes people say it's like its own little vortex. But realistically, it's the community. It's that we have a beautiful pay-what-you-can cafeteria, which serves gluten-free and vegan food, and there are no set prices. We just really want to share the inspiration to be healthy, to live healthy, to be happy, to live happy, to know one's own capacity for healing. We have a complete schedule of yoga classes every week that are all pay what you can. Lots of opportunities for volunteerism. Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. I think people can find all the information about your wonderful yoga classes, your wonderful cafe, which is delicious, and your special events on the first Saturdays of the month on your website.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I would just like to say also is that the ashram is there for the community. So please come out. There's no reason not to. There's no financial requirement. You can come and sit in the meditation gardens. You can use the library. You can have a nice meal. Just spend some quiet time with yourself or with your loved ones. It's a beautiful sanctuary. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on this show, and I want to encourage everyone who listens to this to visit the Kula Kamala Foundation and Ashram in Alsace Township. You will be so wonderfully delighted by this treasure that has come to Berks County. I'm very lucky that I've gotten to do yoga at your facility and actually had you as a teacher several times, and that was really an honor for me. And
Thank you, Francine. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you.
And we hope that if you or anyone you know is suffering from domestic violence or sexual assault, you would reach out to Safe Berks. We're here to help 24 hours a day, and our website is www.safeberks.org. Thank you. For more information about Safe Berks, check out our website at www.safeberks.org.